Welcome to the Revere Veterans and Community Show. Today we do have a veteran of the community. Her name is Susan Gravellese, and Susan grew up in the city of Revere. And Susan, thank you for coming, first of all. And
Morris, it's a pleasure to be here on the Morris Show.
And it's my honor to have you, Susan.
The most popular man in Revere.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Could you please elaborate about your little childhood growing up in Revere?
I was born in Revere. I was born at the Revere Hospital. I don't know if anybody remembers that.
That used to be on Park Ave. Yep.
It's currently the Lighthouse Nursing Home, so that's where I was born. After that, I grew up for the first 2 years of my life on Eastern Ave behind Dairy Queen.
Yep.
And then when I was 2, we moved to Beachmont, which is where I spent all my years of youth growing up in the community of Beachmont.
And the public school you went to?
Oh, yep, Revere Public School. I started at the Mary T. Ronan School on Brad Street Ave.
Yep.
That was where I lived, on Brad Street Ave, directly across from the Mary T. Ronan. And then from there, I went to the old Garfield School.
Right, I remember that very well. I live right around the corner.
Garfield School.
Yep.
And then from there, I went to Revere High School, where I graduated in '82.
Right. You're a graduate of Revere High School in '82. Could you tell us some of the teachers were there? Because we had them on the show. We'd like to hear about
some of the teachers. That's a trick question. That was
who was your senior?
Ago.
Do you remember who you took?
Oh my gosh, I had so many teachers in the high school that I don't remember all of their names.
That was in the year 1982?
Was it 31 years ago, so it's kind of hard to remember everybody's name.
That's okay. It's the same thing about me. Susan, you have a beautiful family. You have a son, a daughter. You've been married 28 years, I believe?
28 years.
Yep, God bless you.
This Saturday will be 28 years.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Could you talk about your family a little bit?
My husband and I met at Revere High School. We both graduated together in 1982, so we were high school sweethearts, and then we got married shortly after that. We got married in '85. We have 2 children. My son Joseph is 25 years old.
And what's he do?
He right now works for the Commonwealth of Massachusetts in Boston. He was a Revere High graduate. Both of my children went through Revere Public Schools. He graduated from Revere High in 2006 and then went to Boston College, where he graduated from there in 2010. My daughter also graduated from Revere High School in 2009, and she's a senior right now at Bentley University, and she'll be graduating in 2 weeks.
Fantastic. Could you elaborate just a little bit about your husband? How you met, since you both went to high school, and you were high school sweethearts?
We met in high school. It was a kind of funny story.
Yep, let us know.
We went to school obviously 3 years together before we met. We met senior year. And we had mutual acquaintances. All our friends were mutual friends. He was actually friends with my sister. And one night, my sister introduced me to him. She's like, "Do you know Jimmy?" I was like, "No." And then that was it. From that day on, we've always been together.
Right. I met my wife when I was 17, and we've been together, 67 years. Yeah, 67.
Yep. We were 17. We were 17 when we met.
Yep. Likewise.
And we've lived in the city of Revere ever since.
I believe you also grew up in Beachmont.
Beachmont.
I lived in Beachmont for a while on Dolphin Avenue, but since you're the guest here, tell us about.
I lived on Brad Street Avenue.
Right around the corner.
All the way up on the top of the hill, directly across from the Mary T. Ronan
How was
School.
it in those days then?
Great. You know, Beachmont's Beachmont. There
Right.
wasn't a better place to grow up. Everybody knew everyone. Every family knew every family. We'd walk from house to house. We were all down the park every day, behind the schoolyard, playing basketball. It was the neighborhood was one big family.
I used to go down, I don't know if you remember Holtz's Pier that used to be
of
there.
course.
I used to go out there, catch the flounders, the fish, for Sunday dinners.
Do you remember Frederick's Park?
Yep.
Do you remember when they used to flood the park?
Oh, definitely.
We couldn't wait for them to flood the park so we could go ice skating.
Right.
That was the best.
And then further down where Sandy's Rise used to be,
I know.
the Hippodrome.
Yeah.
Yep.
The Himalaya, all
Right.
the rides. My father used to take us down there on Friday nights to go.
And I used to take my little kids there too. So
Yep, every Friday that was a treat. My father would take us down there so we could go on the Himalaya, get an ice cream.
Right.
All the good things in Beachmont. Remember when they used to open the fire hydrants?
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
That was fun. We like the fire hydrants are open.
By the way, this is fantastic because you also have people who are the 4th generation of the school system. Could you start from the lower level and work up?
The
tell us who they are.
The youngest level?
Right.
Right now, my great-niece, Michaela Mogilnicki, is a student in the Revere Public Schools. She's in kindergarten at the Paul Revere School.
Yep.
I have a nephew, Sean Horgan. He's at the Beachmont School. He's actually going to into the 6th grade next year, so he'll technically be in middle school next year, now that middle school is 6th, 7th, and 8th. Let's see, all my nieces and nephews, you want me to, I have a...
Yep, go right ahead. That's
You want
why
me
we
to-
have a show.
All my nieces and nephews
All
that
of
went to the Revere Public Schools?
Right.
Okay, there's Amanda, Danielle, Nikki, BJ, Patrick, and Andrew.
Wow.
Okay, that all have graduated, went through and graduated from
Before
the
you
Revere
go,
Public Schools.
how old is the youngest one in kindergarten? Roughly
Michaela's 5.
5, okay.
Mhm. And then, you know, after my nieces and nephews, obviously myself, my 2 sisters, and my brother graduated from Revere High School. And beyond that, let's see, we'll go to my aunts and uncles.
Right.
My Uncle Vinny, my Auntie Leona. They all grew up on Eastern Ave, all went to the Revere Public Schools and graduated. And if we go beyond that, my father's uncle, which I'm sure we all know, is Archie Malace,
Yep.
who was actually a assistant principal at the high school. He worked for 35 years in the Revere Public School system. So the history of my family in Revere goes back very, very far.
Right. And I would like to have you talk about your job, if you could tell us what you do. And
Okay, I work at Revere Karate Academy
yep.
here on Broadway. I've been there working working for 25 years. I've been involved with the studio for, let me think, 30 years, 31 years I've been involved with the studio. I started there as a student when I was 18. I also am an independent trainer that I work at the Boston Fitness Club behind Northgate, formerly Nautilus.
Yep.
Everyone knows it as Nautilus. Nobody knows the real name anymore. So I'm there also. I'm always actively involved in the community. For a brief period of time, I worked for the Stay in Shape program, which was sponsored by MGH. It was
Right,
an
Mass General
after-school,
right?
It was an after-school program for
Yep.
children, for girls in Revere. So I worked at the Revere High School and the Rumney Marsh for a few years. I think it was about 3 years. It was a grant program that I was working on.
I would like to tell you about, can I spend a minute or two talking to you about MGH?
I'd love to.
We have seniors, because like myself, who have diabetes, because you get that when you get old, or cancer, prostate, all kinds of cancer. Women, men, breast cancer.
Yeah.
I got a call from the GH Hospital trying to get some of their top-notch specialists to come on our show right here and spend a half an hour or so talking about what you mentioned, and we hope to have them on.
Oh,
Yep,
that would
so
be great.
when we get done with the show today, I'm going to get on that telephone. I'm going to call the MGH and see if we can
And
get
try
some
to
nice
get them.
people on.
That's good. Very good.
Right, and I
Excellent.
would like to ask you about your future plans, even.
My future plans, well, of course, I plan on staying in Revere.
I hope so.
Of course, and I plan on running for Revere School Committee.
That's wonderful.
And Revere schools have been an important part of my life, as
Right,
you've
as you
just
can
heard,
tell by your family.
for many, many years.
Right.
And I'd just like to be part of something that I consider a very positive part of Revere.
Right, we had a gentleman who's also running for the school committee
Oh, great.
who was on here, and I believe we have another gentleman who's a very young one.
Oh, very good.
You know who I mean.
Excellent.
I don't
Yes.
want to. I want to save the name when he
That's
comes
for a
on
surprise.
here. Right,
Be a
exactly
surprise
when he
to
comes
everybody.
on here. So this is going to be good. It's good for the school committee.
It's
good for
great.
the city of Revere.
It's good to see more people wanting to be involved
Right.
on a positive level.
And I know you do a lot of things because you was at the Little League Telethon just a few
I was.
that was behind us.
Yes, my family's also been involved with McMacken for many, many years.
Right.
My sister Joyce just stopped coaching this year. Her son Sean Horgan, the one I'd mentioned, still plays, but she's not coaching this year. Prior to that, my brother-in-law Joe coached for about 12 years. My nephew Patrick coached for a while. My nephew BJ, they're adults now, obviously, coached for a while. So McMacken's been a big part of our family also.
Right. I got to ask you. You said you worked in a karate studio.
Revere Karate Academy.
Revere. What are the qualifications? I mean, you know, what are the youngest that you take them at?
3.
As young as 3? And the oldest?
The oldest, we've had students well in their 60s to their 70s. And obviously, you know, workouts and exercises
right,
are modified for
What
each
kind of
individual.
exercises do they have there for the little ones, and what do they have there for?
For yourself?
No, I've never make it through the exercise.
You sure? I think you can, Morris. I think you can. I think you have more energy than all of us.
I don't think so, but
The structure of the workout is the same from young to old, but it's modified depending on
I see.
who's in the class.
Give us an example of what they do, like push-ups. I mean,
You know, there's obviously a half hour of like some kind of conditioning workout, which would include running, jumping jacks, push-ups, sit-ups, so on and so forth.
So anyone from 3 to 70 plus can go to the. Tell them where it's located at, where they can come and see you.
144 Broadway in Revere.
And the hours are?
Our hours, we open in the afternoon from 3 and we're open till 9, and we're open on Saturday mornings.
That's fantastic. So anybody, male or female,
Male or female,
can come in?
it's a great place to be. It's just a wonderful family. When you're there, you're like a family. That's why
good.
when I started there, I walked in the door when I was 18 for no reason, just to, I think I'll join karate today. You know, when you're 18, you just decide to do things, and I'm still there.
That's fantastic. Now, when you leave here and you go back to work at the karate, what you do? Do you help do you help the people, or you just?
I don't instruct the classes anymore
Oh, you don't?
I used to. No, not like I did for years and years, many years. I do most of the administrative work. I'm in charge of all the accounts and billing and account management, more like account management, office manager.
And I would like to ask you, Susan, for community work, because we are a community show, and you're a veteran of the community.
That's right.
Definitely, I didn't think you were.
You didn't realize what a veteran I was of the community.
Right. I thought you were a junior or a freshman of the community,
No,
but actually
I've been
you're
here for almost, well, not almost as long, but I've been here for a long time.
I know that, but you've always been with Revere, though. And tell us some of the
Always.
things, elaborate on the things, because I like to see the seniors, especially even because they start young. I mean, I didn't start doing what I do now. I've been doing things for 40 years when I first got involved with the community in Revere. And how old were you when you first got involved, let's say?
I just feel like I've always been involved with the
That's
community.
good. That's good.
Honestly,
Yep.
things that come. Obviously, there's so many events that go on in Revere. Not everybody can make it to all of them, but when I find an event that I can attend and help out at, Revere Shines last week, through the years.
Oh, yeah.
Periodically, when things come up, when I know it's something that fits into my schedule and it's for a good cause, which is just about everything that we do in Revere.
I went out on Revere
tried.
Shines too, By
That
the
was a
time I
great
got
day.
back, I was getting.
You weren't shining anymore?
No, when I got back, I got paid time and a half. That's how slow I was, though. I was picking up the papers on Walcott Avenue.
But through the years, I've always tried to be involved with
I got to tell
whatever
you,
I find that goes on.
I went down with the Shines. We had elderly people, yourself, Mr. Keefe and
Yeah.
Mr. Murillo and Carol Ty and the whole
Yes.
crew up there. Well, I went down Walcott Avenue and I was picking up everything. And I do me needles, even the,
Oh, I know.
even
We
though-
had our gloves and
Yep. So I got tired, and I sat down, and who come over and puts his arm around me? I didn't see because I was facing up the street to Shirley Avenue,
Okay.
and whoever came from the back. I looked up, and it was our lovely Mayor Dan Rizzo on there. So I said to Dan, I says, "Uh-oh, I'm goofing off on the job. I think you got to fire me."
you're gonna get fired.
Yep. So he said, no. He says, stand up and take a picture. I says, I can't, because by the time I stand up, you'll be a great-grandfather, So we took a picture together with me sitting
You sitting.
and him standing on there. But I
It
got
was
to
a
tell
lot
you,
of work, but we had a lot of fun.
right? And I
had
got
a
to tell
fun
you,
day.
the people came out. People that did not come to the American Legion on the Shine came out of their houses, and they saw what we were doing. They came out to
Same
help.
thing happened to
Yeah,
us. We were over by the Wayland School, and someone came out to help us.
Yep. So
Someone
we had
else came out and offered us some water, and telling us they were happy what we were doing. So it's nice just to get out in the neighborhood and meet different people. and
I agree with you.
Reunite with people I haven't seen in a long time, because it's another way to connect with people that you kind of lose touch with.
And then this woman had a dog across the street in the house, and I got a dog and cats. I love animals. I guess the dog must have smelled my pants or something, because he was hanging around me. I was getting a little, but he jumped up and put his paws up here. And when I went to pet him, his tongue came out and washed my whole face. I didn't even have to do anything, but he was. Well, it's the nicest thing that happened to me, and I really enjoyed myself.
That was cute.
What other things besides the Shine program like have we done with the have you done?
Recently, or
Oh,
I mean, throughout the years?
Throughout the years.
I mean, let's see, even on that same day of Revere Shines, later that day, my sisters and I went down to Suffolk Downs. They had the bike run for the veterans.
That's right.
Mm-hmm. One of my sister's work associates,
What's her name?
brother-in-law, my sister, Dottie DeVoe. Someone she works with has a relative that helps run it. So we went down there to help them
Excuse
with
me, is she related? Not related to Ed DeVoe?
Yes.
The one that does the Revere News program?
Yes. She's related. That's her brother-in-law.
Oh, I didn't know that. What a small world.
It is a small world.
Right.
Mm-hmm. Revere is a small city.
Right. You know, I got to tell you, I come from a family of 6 brothers, and I want to make it clear, none of us are twins. None of us. I just want to make that clear. Even though I go around and say I have a twin brother, and the reason for that is if I do something wrong,
you blame them.
I blame him.
Good thing.
See, I always think ahead of it. And I have one sister, and the difference in ages between me and my sister is about 16 years. And we grew up in Brooklyn, New York.
Oh.
Went to high school, PS 115,
Okay.
to Brooklyn. Went to Harron High School on Columbus Avenue and 59th Street and 10th Avenue, but at Columbus Circle. That's where we got off the BMT subway. And then after I got out of high school, I went into the Army, and I was 17, I think 17 in a couple of months when I went in. I forgot, it was 1945, 46. Went over to Germany, served in Germany, came back home. Then I got a job with the State Department as an interpreter, went back to Berlin, Salzburg. And you know, I got to tell you, people don't realize it, but I love music.
When did you move to Revere?
1949.
Oh.
Because we got married in 1950, 63 years. And my wife came from Salem, but she had a sister that lived in Revere.
Okay.
So we came up here to Revere. And let me tell you, thank God I got out of New York when I did. Yep. Because I hear it is a very, very rough place. The only the only disadvantage I have, I hope he edits this out. I'm a Yankee fan.
Oh,
right.
Please edit that out.
Right. And we had I got to tell you, we had an author here. His name is Donald Brown. He wrote a terrific book called The Morphine Storm.
Oh, okay, I've heard of that.
And I told him I'm a Yankee fan, and he said, well, I'm a Red Sox fan. He says, but he had a class one time. By the way, he's from Harvard, graduated from Harvard, and taught at schools. He said he had a class at one time when he asked the people, how many here were Red Sox fans? And this is in New York.
Okay,
and
I bet you a lot, most people.
No, one little lady raised her hand, and she says, I'm a Yankee fan, right? So he went over to her, and he went over to the ones that raised their hands who were Boston fans. And he said to them, we have one Yankee fan, but let's say, why are you a Yankee fan? And the girl said, because my father was a Yankee fan, my mother was a Yankee fan. So he went over to the little Red Sox girl there who loved the Red Sox, and she says, if your father was a Yankee fan and your mother was a Yankee fan, what would you be? She said, I'd be a moron. That's what she answered. And that came from Donald Brown himself, who wrote The Morphine Storm. So I thought that was a fantastic book. So, Susan.
You have the best stories, Morris.
But they're true stories. I mean, I make a little joke in with them, but they are true in them. Like sometimes I got to tell you, I had a neighbor, Eva. Like you say, you do things for the community. I did things for my neighbor that nobody would ever know if I didn't mention it on there. Her name was Eva Demkowski. She was a beautiful woman. She passed away about a year ago, January. She was so blankets for the veterans at the senior center, bring them on, do everything. But my husband passed away, and she wasn't strong, an invalid. I mean, she would use a cane or a walker. So I would take the garbage out for her. I would go sometimes shopping for her, or she would give me the list. I would do that for the outside people, not within the seniors. I mean, you know, it's nice to help people without being in part of the senior center or any community, just to help your next door neighbor.
Just to help your neighbor.
Right, who's older than you. I would shovel in the snow, shovel her sidewalk out in there. These were people. Now, I got to tell you a story. There's a fireman on the Revere Fire Department.
Okay.
Ed Russell is his name. Maybe you know him, maybe you don't.
I don't know.
I was shoveling out in February, the snowstorm we just had. So he's coming down the street with a truck. Ed Russell stops, looks at me, and he yells at me. He yelled at me, and I got scared because, you know, a young guy, me, an old kid. He says, put that shovel away. Put that shovel away. I says, I got to get my car out of the driveway.
Yeah.
So he pulled up a little further ahead. He got out of his car, took a shovel, shoveled me out.
Isn't that
So I had
nice?
about 20-some-odd dollars in my pocket, and I took it out to pay it to him. He said, put that back. Put that back. He says,
Isn't it nice when people
yeah.
stop
And I
do
was
a good
shocked. I
deed?
was really shocked. But
And you
then
didn't know him at that time?
I
You had
sh-
just met him?
I only met him that one time. I went to the fire department on Broadway to thank him, but him and I never seemed to be there at the same time, which was
Oh,
nice.
that
So
was
here was
nice.
someone working for the city of Revere,
Yeah.
helping a senior citizen of the city of Revere.
It's
That's nice.
There's a lot of good in Revere.
Right, and Mayor Dan Rizzo even mentioned to me, which I never knew, that he has a group of kids from the
Yes,
school
the
system.
Snow Angels.
Say that
The
again?
Snow Angels.
Why don't you tell us about that?
I just know what I've read and what I've heard about them. At Revere Public Schools, they have the ROTC program.
Right,
which
we
is
had
new
them on
this
the
year.
show. Yep.
Oh, you did?
Major
Great.
Balker and Sergeant Callender, Sergeant Major Callender, excuse me, sir.
I don't know them personally.
I do.
Just know
They're
of the
excellent,
program.
excellent.
I know some of the children that are in the program
Right.
that love it. I mean, and what a phenomenal idea that was, bringing that into the school system. But anyways, they have the ROTC kids sign up to be snow angels. And
Oh, they're the
whenever-
ones that are the snow angels.
And whenever there's a storm, they assign them to different areas, or different seniors they might know that need to be shoveled
Right,
out.
and I'm
so-
glad you mentioned that, and this goes out to the seniors. Don't shovel yourself, especially if you're
No.
old and you have a weak heart. You can call the mayor's office, and I'm sure someone will come out and help you. And like Susan
They'll
said,
call the Snow Angels.
call the Snow Angels, and you could call the mayor's office, which is 286-8111. They have beautiful people working there.
Definitely.
Yep, like Sophia, like Joyce, like Debbie.
Oh, definitely.
Oh, nice people working there, and they will help you out. So anytime we get a snowstorm, don't shovel.
Don't shovel.
Right.
It's way too much work. So there's a lot of, like I said, the mayor's putting a lot of positive, different ideas
Oh, I got to
within
tell
the
you,
community.
people
that
are raving about
Oh,
the
my
things
God.
he's doing in the city of Revere.
Everything.
The school system
The school
going up
system.
new, the lights on
So
Broadway.
beautiful.
One thing I would like to see a
Hopefully
lot more.
revamping the whole, all the signs on Broadway, and I
know,
think it'll be beautiful.
I got to say one thing, Susan. What I would like to see a lot, with all the nice things going on, but the most important thing, and it's been proven, put cameras up on some of the streets.
Yeah.
Because cameras will keep the crime down a little. It won't stop it.
It won't stop
But
it,
it will deter them, because if you
It
know
will.
you're being watched
you
by big,
know.
right. But then you get the other side. Well, Big Brother's watching you and all that. But if you're not doing anything, don't
Then
worry.
you don't have to worry about it.
Right. Susan, we have a few minutes.
Okay.
So take about, let's see, 2 or 3 minutes. Say whatever you like to say about yourself, wrap it up, and then give me a minute or two to finish.
How much more can I say about myself, Morris? Let's see.
Okay, if you
We've
can-
covered a lot.
Right?
Let's
see
see.
what else we can talk about. with
Besides
this.
me, I haven't left my 2-mile radius of Revere
By the
since
way-
I was born. So
Right, that little leak thing that we had behind us, that was, that we had a few weeks back or a few days back. How was that?
which one? I'm sorry.
The one at the, that we had baseball for the little
Oh,
league.
at the McMacken?
Right.
Yes, that was last week. That was a lot of fun. We
And
had fun
yep.
there.
Who was there, by the way? I know Mickey Casoli was there.
Mickey, of course.
Carol
Mickey
Ty was there. I
Carol
got to tell you
Ty.
about Carol Ty. She was on the TV show. She was a superintendent of school for 7 years.
Yes.
Not the second best superintendent, not the second best, but the first. There was no one above Carol Ty,
Right.
and there's no one above
Carol
Dr.
Ty's the
Danker.
best.
Right. I just want to make that perfectly
Right.
clear, because I always say I was the second, or you were the second, and best in it. But Carol Ty was on here, and she gave us a good thing about the school system.
She's
I
amazing.
also heard some women talking, by the way, which I didn't know that. Some elderly on Broadway near the Good Diner about a new high school being built, or I mean, they were just, which I haven't heard of.
I
So
mean,
I don't want to spread rumors.
Yeah,
but
I don't want to spread rumors either. Obviously, the
You
high
know.
school is in need of
repairs. That it is.
Yeah, I think it's beyond repairs. It's in need of being rebuilt, but whether or not, that's something that I wouldn't know anything about. If
Let's see,
they're
that
getting
high school.
grants or funds.
Susan, how
or,
old is that high school? Must be about 50, 60 years old.
Trying to think. Was it constructed in the early 70s?
Right, if it was constructed in the early 70s, that would make it about 43, 44.
Yeah, I
No, so I
believe it
think
was
it's
the
all-
early
yep.
70s. I think it was, I'm almost
But
certain.
you know, since with the
'Cause my
mayor's...
brother graduated from the high
Right.
school, and I'm pretty sure he was at the old high school, which is near where the
My son,
Immaculate was.
before he passed away, he went to the Walker School, I believe, the one that burned down. It used to be in Revere on North Shore Road. There was
Oh, okay, yep, right on North Shore Road.
was that the Walcott?
The Walcott, yes.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
and it burned down.
Yes.
Yeah. We lived on Florence area on the hill, and he would come down the stairs to go to school because we had the stairs from Florence down here.
Yeah.
But in the winter
Go sledding
time,
down?
he would
Of
slide down
course.
with the sled, except for one thing. If you don't stop the sled, you're out on the road.
You're in the street.
With the cars coming by you, but they finally put an end to that over there. So I just wanted you
We
to
used
mention
to do that in Beachmont on Endicott Ave, the hill
Right.
that went down. We called it Goose Hill. And it
Yep.
would go down right into the traffic, right into the green, you know, the green that's in the very bottom, like off by the beach. That was our place to sled.
See, let's see. I'm almost twice as old as you, really, when you think of it. I mean, almost. I didn't say quite. No, when you're 48, 96, a difference, what, 10 years? I mean, you know, that's good.
I know.
That's good. So, you know, Susan,
The good old days of Revere.
let me tell you, the show is going to be winding down, but I want to thank you, and I really mean that, for having the honor to have you as my guest.
I want to thank you for having me here,
It
Morris.
was a pleasure to have you.
It
May
was a
God
pleasure to
bless
be
you and
here.
take care of you and your family.
Thank
May
you.
God bless the community of Revere.
Yes.
May God bless our troops. And may God bless the United States of America. Until the next time, folks, thank you out there for listening to the
Thank you.
Revere Veterans and Community Show, and hope to see you again.
Thank you.
Thank you.